Delighted to be here in this gorgeous 3-bed apartment in Hali Cherrywood, and I'm here with Heinz Senior Design Manager Helen Walsh. Helen, the place is absolutely stunning. Can you tell me a bit about the apartment?
This particular apartment's a 3-bed. We spend a lot of time on the layouts of our apartments and making sure that they're spacious and also there's enough circulation for the resident. This particular apartment has 2 good sized double and single bedrooms. It has a master bedroom with ensuite. We've got a primary bathroom, utility with washing and drying facilities, ample storage, and then this particular space is an open plan living dining. We've got a kitchen with integrated appliances. We've got this fantastic balcony which is pretty much an extension of the living space.
I'm really struck today by the sense of light. You know, we have both aspects here and the views to the ocean, which is just incredible, but there's also a real sense of warmth and texture, and particularly in the sofas and the kind of different accessories and that you've chosen. Can you tell me a little bit about how you chose the palette for the development in the apartment?
We did look at the local areas as a starting point as we developed the concept. We've used a lot of light, natural materials and a lot of textured materials. This is also just to give the resident the opportunity to make the space their own. It also helps us when we're styling along the way, depending on what time of the year we're leasing.
I love that often, you know, you'd see a neutral palette, and I feel it is neutral and people kind of add their own personality to it, but there's real warmth, so I think that's been really successful. When I'm choosing furniture for a project and dealing with the client, you know, it's so bespoke and depending on their needs, you know, the durability, the comfort, the sizing. At Hali, it's for residents, and you probably don't get to know exactly who every resident is going to be. So can you tell me a bit about how you began to select and choose the pieces to get that durability and that comfort and the process around that?
Started off, I suppose, sizing, I suppose, as you mentioned, is the most important thing, making sure everything fits the space. There's a lot of time spent sampling furniture pieces, plus also materiality, making sure it's comfortable for the user, that it's durable. It's an investment for us, so we really need to make sure that it's really, really fit for purpose.
And I think it feels durable, but there's also a kind of sense of luxury, I feel, within the pieces you've chosen. So it's obviously very practical, but you know, even having the velvets, the kind of slightly more textured on the sofa, it's not maybe what you'd expect from a rental. You know, there's definitely a kind of elevated sense of the materiality you've chosen.
I suppose there's a lot of custom items as well for us. I suppose, one thing is our mattresses are all custom made. It's something we do spend, you know, the comfort is a big part of how we're kind of looking at this, as well as the style and the look and feel of it. The furniture provider we've used for this is Total Fit Out, so they'd have years experience in the build to rent market, and I've got quite a collaborative relationship now working on what we put into the spaces. We would in particular focus a lot on, of course, the maintenance, but where they're sourced. So I think when you're looking at the current times in ESG, so the environmental, social and governance, and making sure that we're sustainably sourcing our materials and knowing where all of our furniture comes from. We're delighted in this development that over 50% of the furniture is actually manufactured in Ireland.
One of the most striking elements for me within the apartment is the artwork. Can you tell me about the process of curating and selecting the pieces for Hali?
Yeah, so it's something I suppose quite close to my heart. On previous projects I worked on is bringing in some local artists, and I feel in Dublin and the wider community we have a plethora of local and established and up-and-coming artists that we can work with. So we collaborated with Hang Tuff, who introduced us to a range of different artists, which we whittled down to 3 in the end. So we would have looked at Neil Dunn, Mary O'Connor and Jane Fogarty. We've given them a strong concept of using Cherrywood in the local area, plus the historical artefacts that are found within walking distance of the site. This particular one with Jane, it was inspired by Ratdown slabs, which are in the local area, so she went and she visited them and took a lot of the colour inspiration from that, and the stroke work in the artwork is representative of the indentations that would have been in the stones when she was down there, and bringing some greens from the moss and the colour scheme that was on the particular site itself.
As we saw in some of the kind of public spaces, that large-scale artwork is so dynamic and really striking, and it's something I suppose that's really important within this development, the public amenities. Can you tell me a bit about how you, I suppose, chose the materiality and even approach the design for the public spaces and the amenities within the development?
Okay, well I suppose the amenities are they really are the focal point of our developments. They're they're integral to the starting point of how we start building our blocks and I suppose orientating ourselves around the site. It's their arrival point for the most part, but it's also something we feel is the heart of the building. We have our gym, our entertainment facilities, co-working spaces. There is cafe lounges.
It's a real lifestyle, I suppose, you're offering.
Yeah.
Here. It's having the opportunity to work out, meet your friends, you know, also kind of work from home. And I think that idea as well is really important because for my clients, you know, having the kind of separation between the living space and your workspace is often hard to achieve. So the fact that they can technically work from home but be downstairs in one of the kind of public spaces, but still have that, I suppose, flexibility to come back if they want to put on the washing or, you know, do the kind of nice day-to-day things. So I think having the broader amenities within the development, I'm sure, will be a huge draw for people.
Exactly. Our co-working facilities are something we've found has just been so successful, but also as their day progresses, they've got different areas they want to go to.
It's been really lovely to understand, I suppose, the approach to the design and seeing the beautiful apartments. So thank you, Helen.
Thank you very much.